The word for the week is Matthew 5:4. Blessed are they that mourn, taught Jesus, for they shall be comforted. There's also a verse talking about how we as believers don't grieve as the world does, because we grieve with hope. Hope for a better tomorrow, hope for a purpose, and hope in seeing our loved ones again. So as you are grieving, how do you get to the point of feeling blessed or comforted, or being able to say that your hope is more like confidence in the plans of God for your life? Because today you may be feeling nothing but pain, and the idea of a future is just too far to reach. Today I'm going to share some resources with you to help you walk out the journey you never wanted to take, to know that you're not alone, and to feel the hope you desperately need. Hey friend, welcome to the Grieve to Great Day podcast. Do you feel like you're going crazy? Is the shower the only place for you to really cry? Are you surrounded by people, but you still feel all alone? Do you want to be the you were before your loved one died, but you have no idea how to get there? I'm Steph Cabanis, Southern by choice, wife, turtle triathlete, Jesus follower, and fellow traveler in the journey of grief. I too struggled to breathe, questioned God and my faith, and thought I would never be happy again. But God took my brokenness and He turned it into a breakthrough. So if you're ready to understand how to navigate grief, lean into your faith and take just one step towards healing, then bring your ugly cry, get into a comfortable place, even if that's your bed right now, and let the healing begin. Girl, there's hope for your future. Come on in the house and join me on that couch. I'm Steph, and this is Grieve to Great Day. Thank you for being here. I want you to feel welcomed, but also heard through this podcast. Hello to everyone listening in Ukraine, our spotlight country. This country spotlight is fitting for episode 89, and you'll see why in a couple of weeks. As far as the U.S., Colorado is at the top with the most downloads this week. Grieve to Great Day is downloaded in over 70 countries now. This tells me that there is a need to talk about grief and that it is felt throughout the world. So please know that whatever country or state you're in, you're not alone as you walk through this thing called grief. I know there are new listeners each week, so if that's you, welcome to a place I know you never wanted to be. And if you hear me talk about Monica, her faith, or her death, and you need some background, just go to the website grief2greatday.com and click on the book tab. Her faith journey through the last 6 months was unreal, and her death changed me. She is the reason you are listening to me today. In this podcast, we talk about understanding grief, like the things that you're going to encounter that will surprise you and frustrate you. We'll talk about processing daily life, like how to get through the day and how to grow your faith. So if you're just starting your journey, please know that life will change. It is not always going to hurt like this. It's important for you to hear that often. Now, this is not to say you're going to stop missing your loved one, because you won't. But you will be able to breathe, to laugh, and to live again. In today's episode, I just want to update you on a new and free resource that may help you or someone that you know who is in the very beginning of their grief journey. Grieve to Great Day was birthed out of a death, my loss of someone who was like a sister or a mother. She was my best friend, roommate, and business partner in several ventures, including working on a hog farm, starting a cookie business, and ultimately a successful health and safety training business we began. I think about the person I was before her death, and I can see a real transformation that I know only comes from God. The story of grief is unique to each of us because we are all different. But over the past decade, I have learned of some unifying experiences, and I haven't met a person who at one point or another hasn't felt like their loss could kill them too, or maybe they wanted it to. We don't easily share those feelings, but in being transparent, we help others who come along after us. One of my biggest struggles after Monica died was to find Christian grief support. My faith, my relationship with God was very fragile, and that's putting it nicely. But I knew that true healing would only come from Him. I knew this by way of my religion, my head knowledge, but it didn't become a revelation until Monica's example of walking through sickness to death and never skipping a day of saying, "We had a great day, didn't we?" Y'all, if you could have seen what cancer did to her body and the pain and difficulty breathing, yet her focus was on Jesus and all she could see was the great in each day. That, my friend, is only God. And a calling to Christian grief support is also only God. Now, I've created some resources to help those who also value and need Christian grief support. And in the last year, I have listened to what people have asked for. And so, in addition to the podcast, the private Facebook group, and grief coaching, I've created 3 additional resources. If you remember in a few of the beginning episodes, I shared that I don't subscribe to the stages of grief, the denial, anger, bargaining, etc., as stages of grief. They served a purpose at the time, but people mistakenly thought that one stage came after another and that healing was found after all the stages were experienced. This is so not true because we are all individuals, and grief, it is the opposite of being linear. You don't feel better today and tomorrow feel even better and the next day feel even better. It is more like a roller coaster ride. So I shared my stages of grief. They are breathe, laugh, live, and flourish. The resources I created are based on those. In terms of the very beginning, the I can't get out of bed, I can't even breathe kind of day, there's a very simple introduction to the journey because you're getting ready to walk this out and you need to know what's coming. Now, I went kicking and screaming down this road, so I know what you're going to encounter and I know what's going to be helpful. This introduction is called Loss, Grief, and Healing. There is a journey of grief illustration that accompanies the free download, and there are many audio lessons on each of the destinations, we'll just say, on the journey. It's an overview that's going to prepare your heart and your mind for what may come. The next resource is a workshop, and it's called The First Year of Grief, How to Survive with Hope and Heal. The focus is still in the beginning, but more specifically, your first year of grief. There are 4 important actions for you to take in that first year because there are days you don't want to get out of bed, there are thoughts and actions you don't understand having, and there are challenges to just going to the grocery store or returning to church. The 4 actions I share are based on what will be the most helpful in the short term, like knowing what's normal and how to get through those bad days, but will also serve, and this is important, as a foundation to healing and rebuilding of your life. Now, along with the breathe and laugh stages comes live again and flourish. And you might not want to hear that right now, but it's going to come. So there's going to be a You're Not Crazy, It's Grief 6-week support program at some point this year. Now, this will still be online, but will include group meetings. It's a deeper dive with FaceTime, if you will, providing accountability, focusing on healing, and uncovering your purpose. And you'll be around others walking the same journey. Now, in the support program, we continue to cover getting through daily life, consistency in taking healing steps, and those unexpected minefields. But we're also going to focus on the living again, as in rebuilding your life and flourishing. So I don't recommend this support program until you're near the year mark in your journey. So let me recap those resources. If you or someone you know has just lost a loved one and you need to know what in the world is happening and what will be happening with this thing called grief. Go to grievetogreatday.com and download the free Loss, Grief, and Healing resource. In the first year of grief, there's so much to navigate, but it's an important time to rebuild a foundation for your future. So purchase the First Year of Grief, How to Survive with Hope and Heal. You may not want a future in the first year. That's okay and normal. But by taking the right faith-based steps to healing, you will be able to thrive, not just survive when you're ready. Now, after the first year or close to it, when you are starting to get those glimpses of wanting something more and you're discovering your purpose while still walking out that second tough year, you'll want the It's Grief, You're Not Crazy 6-week support program. I'll let you know when it's released, but keep an eye out for it on the website. The Grief to Great Day podcast has over 20,000 downloads, and that's in the last 15 months. And each month, the downloads increase from the previous month. I cannot tell you how great it is to be used of God in a way that I know is important and can be life-changing. See, grief, you're either going to grow from it or you're going to get stuck. And as Christians, we don't grieve as the world does. That does not mean we don't hurt. It means that we have hope of a better tomorrow. My desire is to, through everything I do, point women to the ultimate healer, Jesus Christ, and to show the power of hope. So thank you for taking those hard steps towards healing. And when there is healing, you have work to do, kingdom work. I know you feel there is something for you to do even now, and you may not know what it is or how it could ever happen with the pain you are feeling. But just watch and see what God will do. Please keep sharing this podcast, and if you will, I'm going to ask a favor of you. Take a minute to go to Apple Podcast, rate and leave a written review for Grief to Great Day. Personally, I don't care about those things. However, ratings and reviews increase the reach of the podcast, and I do care about reaching more women. There are so many out there who are just hanging on by a thread. They need hope. They need your stories and this podcast. So your journey works this week is to go to the Grief to Great Day website, check out the resources. Remember, the newest resource is free, Loss, Grief, and Healing Seminar. So download it or share it with someone. And again, please go to Apple Podcast, rate, and leave a written review of Grief to Great Day so more women can have this resource. And until we meet again, remember who holds your future and know that you are not alone. If you don't have a church home, visit my church, opendoorchurch.com. Links to everything you need are in the show notes. And keep on coming back to the house. Keep sitting on the couch and keep taking those steps, however slow or small, towards your healing. Thank you for being here today, for showing up. If this podcast has given you hope, encouragement, or helped you in any way, share it with a friend, either in a text or on your social platforms. Also, please subscribe, rate, and leave a written review on iTunes. It's a huge blessing for me to know that you're out there. Lastly, and this is important, you are not alone. Connect with me on the Grief to Great Day website, the link is below, and sign up for our free newsletters. I want to be able to pray for you by name. Remember, grief isn't something you're going to get over, but a great day is something you can get to.